Start. Yeah, I got dropped into it. I think a good leader, it has to come from like having good purpose and good compass. And it's natural for them to complain. It's natural for them to vent.
Untuk semua pull request yang belum di-merge, login yang udah diambil di Matrix, dan solusi bug yang entah gimana munculnya waktu kita tidur. Inspect, reflect, refactor our lives. To boldly go behind the code into the life behind the push. This is Debug Live! Hi guys, here now we have Tam. She is VP of Product in Hydra X. Thank you, Tam, for your time here, and thank you for accepting my invitation through this program. I want to share to the world, to the other community about the corporate stuff, technological wise, and also the leadership and things that they perhaps wants to know but don't have access to get there. So thank you once again, Tam.
Thanks for having me.
So Tam, can you introduce yourself and also a quick introduction about Hydra X, please?
Yeah, so I'm Tam. I'm currently VP of product in Hydra X. So I lead the product team as well as the tech team in Hydra X as well. And Hydra X, we exist in a space that I think a lot of people don't know. So it's called capital market infrastructure. So if I can put it simply, you can just think of it as an infrastructure or technology that we provide to different stakeholders that's involved in mobilizing assets across the globe or within a country. So these are like banks, these are financial institutions, or it can be just like a custodian. And what we specialize in is mobilizing digital assets of within the economy. So digital assets, it can range from cryptocurrency to tokenized assets. So any real world assets can be tokenized, put it on the blockchain, and then it can be traded, transacted across different platforms that can be operated by banks or financial institutions. Yeah, so we provide the technology for people to do that.
I see. And what about you, Tom?
About me. What should I say about me?
Yeah, you're now the VP of product, right? And I saw your LinkedIn profile. You coming from the AVP marketing, which is a bit different sector and then product. And how do you climbing the ladder from AVP marketing to the VP of product?
Climbing the ladder, I've never climbed a ladder. I guess for me it's a slightly different experience. I don't think I start a job or work with the intention of getting promoted, or I think title doesn't really matter, especially for people that are interested in startups. So for me, I've been in multiple startups, and whichever gaps there are, I would try to fill in if there is a practical help I can provide, or if there is a need there. So for Hydra X, it was when I joined, we were in B2C stage. So back then, our hypothesis was creating a platform that can allow people to customers to actually have access to multiple cryptocurrencies across different exchanges. So back then it was a B2C play. So if it's B2C, then we'll need like really a lot of investment in terms of marketing and all that. So that's why I joined as AVP product. But after a while, I think when COVID hit, that was like maybe 4 or 5 months of me into Hydra X. COVID hit, and I think that was also the time when the cryptocurrencies market also came to a freeze. So then we decided we pivoted over to a B2B business. And that is where you need to start building, like, say, a real product for like clients and all that. And then so the practical gap I could fill in that time was product. So I started as a product, and then I guess the change in title is just I mean, it's a reflection of the company's appreciation. I don't think it's a like I don't put that as a ambition in mind, or I need to get there. Yeah.
I
So it's
see.
just whatever that is the practical problems I can solve. Yeah.
I see. Oh,
Mm.
I thought like Hydra X from the beginning is B2B, instead of in B2C, right?
Yeah. We pivoted from B to C to B to B. Uh, and yeah, that pivot happens when Hydra X is about 6, 7 years old now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the pivot happens when we were about 1 year old, and then yeah, it became a B2B play. And ever since, I think our company traction is a lot stronger, and it is really the play, the area where we actually can value add to the industry. Yeah.
Ah, I see, I see. Okay, before we jump to the Hydra X things, and I have a bunch of questions regarding the Hydra X ecosystem and also the business side. I want to ask regarding yourself. How do you start your professional work into the product sector?
How do I start? Yeah, I got dropped into it. I didn't choose it. uh, I guess, but I can share a little bit of experience about how the transition felt like. I think the I mean, to me, across different startups, companies that I have been in, the thing that I enjoy the most is to be exposed to different roles. So I was in sales ops before, and then I was also in investor relations, and then marketing, and then product. So that switch in role normally is something that's exciting to me.
Mhm,
And another thing is also, I guess, back then, a long time ago,
mhm.
when after I graduated, I said, I'm not going to do anything that deals with tech or finance. So I ended up
Wow.
so I end up being in a company that uh, deals with both. So to me, it was quite funny that you can't predict what you're gonna say yes to. So it's both it's a personal challenge to me, but it's a good challenge that I like to take on. So then after a while, then I guess the differences came when the company grows and the team that I had to manage also grow. So then there's a change in mindset. Yeah, so no longer you just take care of your own work. So it's not just individual contributors anymore, but really as a lead. So it takes time to actually grow the mindset into the lead mindset. Like you no longer operate from the point of view that like I do my best job to get recognition,
Mhm.
but my best job is for my team to get the recognition, for the people that I work with to get the work satisfaction to produce the best work. So then in the way that I work, in the way that I spend my time, everything changed from there. Mm.
Ah, I see. Oh, wow. Good story. Thank you. Uh, Now, I want to know more about the product itself. What is the department of product? What is the purpose of product and how its routine goes on daily basis?
Mm. You mean in general the product role, is it?
Yep, yep.
Right. The role of product in, how should I say it? I guess it's more of like I know a lot of people would say like the product is the CEO of the product that we build, but I don't think of it that way. I think we are the engineer of the people and the process to bring all these different components that normally may be um, in conflict with each other in terms of objective, and we try to bring all this together in order to solve uh, a common problem. Yeah, so bringing all these different stakeholders together requires not just the people skill, but then at the same time, uh, like you have to be able to listen, you have to be able to understand where the company is heading, the backdrop of all that, and understand the economy, understand the industry in order to facilitate the interaction in a way that will produce the best outcome. Yeah, so you engineer all that like processes in order to get to the common goal. Yeah,
I see.
if I can
So
put it that way.
okay, so you okay, let me like rephrase it from my own perspective, right? So
Mm,
product itself, so meaning that you have the responsible to build the product that fit to the market and also bring up the what is it main features of the product to the market and solve all the conflict within and make it best product as possible. Is it?
yeah, yeah. And sometimes, if you want to be funny about it, in a way, people, people pay people to do product role in order to uh, deal with tension and conflict across all the teams. So it's normal if a product manager feels like, oh my god, it's such a headache to deal with all this. But in a way, we're paid to do that because nobody wants to do that. Yeah.
I see. You also mentioned like by now you're a VP of product and you're now not a individual contributor. Instead of you're leading a team, a bunch of a teammate under you, reporting to you. How do you like learn about the leadership itself, coming from someone that don't want to get in the technology company or financial company?
Uh, well, I guess is you need feedback from people to learn, and that feedback comes from comes in many form. Yeah. So to me, sometimes the feedback could be just if like we have good relationship, then it can be like a direct feedback face to face. Uh, Other time is I mean I screwed up all the time as a leader. So sometimes it comes when like say maybe people leave and then there might be certain things that like you figure out you like you could have done better. Another time is really is a lot of time of me stepping back to think through things and reflect, and I read a lot.
Mhm.
I think at some point we reach the limit of how much we can self learn and how much we can just elicit what is needed from the people around. So I read, I talk to other people that have experienced leading before. So I think leadership will just be manifested slightly differently in different roles and companies that we have, but the fundamental of it is still the same. So the struggles will still be the same. So that's where having people that can give you that honest view regarding like what good leadership is will help a lot. Yeah.
I see. And based on your word, better leadership or good leadership, what is the explanation, or can you describe it about the what is it? The requirement or specification to be a good leader?
I don't want to sound preachy about this. Not that I know that well. I again, a lot of these things is just based on my own personal experience.
Mm-hmm,
Uh, so don't take this as a recipe, okay?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just trial and error and learn here. Well, I guess to me, when I feel, um, I think a good leader it has to come from like having good purpose and good compass. That has to be the core of everything. You cannot be a leader where you can be like just be everything to everyone and everywhere. There has to be certain sense of like core that will anchor your decision. That will anchor like how would you define like what's the right culture for the team, How would you define what's acceptable, what's not acceptable? How would you live with yourself if you make certain decisions? Yeah, so certain clarity of like the values you stand for, certain values that you will not like compromise for, no matter in which situation you're in. So that has to be the core purpose. um at least for me, that core purpose is like I like seeing people grow. So anything that would add to that, um I would be willing to do. Yeah, so to me is always um an anchor onto the benefit of the people that I lead. But at the same time, also the company that I'm in as well. So I think a lot of time leaders may make the mistake that like when you are leader of a certain department, you are just wearing that department hat. But it's always important to remember that we're always gonna be wearing the hat as a uh, of a company as well. So always keep in mind that this is a company objectives, and even if like say sometimes you want to like protect your team because of this and that, but maybe for like the benefit of the company, the team may have to do something that's out of comfort zone, and you may have to say yes to it because at the end of the day, what helps the company matters. Yeah.
Mm, I
Mm.
see. Wow. So, okay. By listening your story just now, it's really adding some insight to me about leadership. I saw passionate things about you regarding the leadership. You want to see others grow based on their foundational, and also you want to embrace and encourage them to grow and to be better every day. Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, sometimes people grow and then they decide to leave, but I mean that's part of it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when I try to start my company itself, I try to learn about leadership. It's like a hard way. I have to, what is it, down to their level instead of just bossing around. You have to do this, you have to do that. Because when bossing around, it didn't solve any problem at all. It just adding some stress.
Mm,
But when I try to leveling down to them, I try to talk with them like a friend and try to work it out together. I experienced so many great things. The
mm,
first thing I know about the problem and also the situation regarding the team, and also how the mentality and also the, what is it called, moral of the
mm,
team.
yeah.
Mm.
And sometimes it's hard because so I think one of the things that I also learn is to always remember that as a leader, your main one of the main roles is to influence as well. So
Mhm.
it's not just like I think last time my very simplistic understanding is that as long as you're a good human being, it's fine. People will want to follow you. Doesn't work so simply. Yeah, sometimes like I think in the day-to-day job, your team will go through many different like say micro failures at different points, and it's natural for them to complain, it's natural for them to vent their frustrations. And then if I'm just going to be a good human being, I'm just going to listen. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm,
And as a leader, it's my role to influence, to reframe the problems, to encourage them, to remind them of, like, say, this is a mission. And sometimes it comes at a cost of, like, in some situation, it's better to be a leader with a top-down approach, and then sometimes it can be a bottom-up.
mhm,
Yeah, so to balance that context and to recognize at which point I can use what kind of method, I think that takes a lot of time to learn.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, agreed. So, Tom, I have a lot of like a funny story that impactful to me, being a leader, a good leader. Have you have one? Can you share your story to us?
Funny story.
Yeah, impactful. Yeah.
Impactful.
Mhm,
I guess is the time when we had to go through a restructuring of the team. Okay, I guess 2 times. So the first time was when I had to make a layoff decision. Uh, that is after COVID period, and like a lot of company went into troubles, and a lot of companies, even before they went into troubles, they decide to do an early layoff in order to conserve the cash. Yeah, so that's where I say, like, sometimes it's not good enough being a good human being by the normal definition. I guess, and I also learned that making that decision doesn't mean it makes me a bad person. So what I was given is that I need to be able to cut the expense of the team by 1/3. So then uh, is either I'm gonna just cut everybody's pay by 1/3, or we have to lay off 1/3 of the team, and then I have to relook at the team. Is there anybody that actually underperforming? Actually, in my mind, I already know who, um, but it was a hard decision because people are gonna hate you for it.
Yep.
And but is it fair to ask my team to everybody to take 1/3 pay cut just because I don't want to be a bad person to a group of underperforming employees? um, yeah, so I thought that was not fair for the team. So and it was the first time I did that kind of decision. So it took quite a while for me to come to terms with it, and then execute it. Yeah, but I didn't regret because I think A players will always want to work with A players.
Yep.
So it's also part of my role to keep to protect the team from under mediocre work. Yeah, so that everybody is encouraged to give their best. Yeah, so I guess that was the first time. The second time was when we had to do the restructuring of the team. So yeah, it was tough because people will have their own preference to stick to what they know. But I guess if we want a different outcome for the company, we cannot continue to keep doing the same thing. So we had to find a different ways, and I also don't know whether that different way would work. So it's best guess anyway. So yeah, so standing there in the town hall and explain to people, yeah, we're gonna have to do this, and we're gonna have to do it now, and we're gonna need everybody to be involved in it, and say, like, and I believe that there'll be, like, say, good outcomes from it if we're gonna pull through together. But in my mind, there's always another voice that say, well, if it doesn't work, then why are you gonna tell them? Yeah, so that's the hard part of leadership, but I think I grow a lot from it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. By doing a tough call, it make us quite a bit of a person, so that we can make a decision out of a good reason. And thank you, Tam. The story is really, yeah. I listened to your story and reflecting back to my old experience building a company, and also be a good leader, improving day by day as a good leader. So the purpose of Hydra X is to tokenizing all of the real asset to the digital asset, right? And can you like give some explanation, an analogy, perhaps to us, the beginner one, about the tokenization and also the cryptocurrency stuff?
Mm. Uh, so it's always my challenge to somehow simplify what my company is doing to other people, because not a lot of people actually understand this industry. Even the concept of tokenization itself is an abstract thing unless you actually do it. Yeah, so let's say one of our clients is SDEX. So SDEX is an exchange operator. So what SDEX does, or what we allow SDEX to do, is to tokenize, like, properties or buildings into, like, fractional assets. So what do we mean by, like, fractional assets? Is like, say, instead of like buy and sell the whole unit, you can buy and sell a fraction of it, because we have tokenized all this into a smaller units and have it registered and recorded in the on the blockchain itself. So, but then what happens after that? What happens after tokenization? Like, it's like, say for example, if you have money, where do you put your money? You want to put it in a secure place, and that's a bank, right? So in our context, what we allow SDEX to do is also to put this tokenized asset into a safe place, a secure place. And in digital asset world, that is a custodian. So Hydra X has the license to act as custodian to safekeep digital assets, whichever digital assets that's created within Singapore. So it's a license by the MAS in Singapore. Yeah, so after we safekeep the assets, then definitely SDEX customers will be asking, okay, so I have all these assets ready. I want to trade. I want to make money from it, right? So it's not going to just sit there. So then SDEX will continue to come to us and then ask us, like, can you provide us with the technology to create an exchange so that my customers can go to the exchange and then trade assets. Yeah, so then we provide the technology for SX to launch their own exchange and customers can trade. So in essence, what we do is twofold. One is providing marketplace technology to allow different kind of transactions to take place, and the other one is to allow is the wallet or custody technology and services. Yeah, so we have license and technology to give our customers, our clients, the end-to-end experience. Mm.
I see. So you mentioned like the one of this example is a property. You kind of create a fractional kind of from one unit to a fraction of bits, and then try to make a token out of it, right?
Mm.
And then by doing token to increase the money or making it liquid, you create a marketplace out of it. So, Tom, can you describe us about the state of crypto or the blockchain itself in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, so I would say different country has different level of readiness to adopt Web3 or blockchain technology. So, I mean, as I mentioned before, Singapore is ahead of the curve. Then we have other countries that follow suit, like Malaysia, Indonesia, and we have, like Hydra X have entities to operate licensed entities or licensed services in Malaysia as well. Then I also see that the rest of the countries, they are there's a growing interest from the government in actually like pushing for initiative to grow and to encourage the adoption of blockchain technology within the finance sector. So like the most obvious one that I've seen recently is Vietnam, where they actually put forth like a government policy to say like to get the regulatory framework to be ready more or less by like end of the year. And a lot of banks in Vietnam, they are starting to look into like how to make that happen, and
Mm,
government agencies are also coming up with different initiative and framework in order to encourage that. Yeah,
I
so
see.
exciting years to be in.
Yeah. So, I just curious though. Blockchain, even so, it's not early or the baby technology. I think it's more than decade for the technology itself. But I saw like the regulation itself in Indonesia, it's not properly regulated, and
Mm,
also it's kind of changing a lot over the year.
mm,
And how like Hydra X navigates the changes of the regulation, and also how Hydra X innovates to the upcoming trend of the blockchain.
yeah. So I mean, there are when it comes to blockchain technology, there are two school of thoughts around this. So people that are crypto native, they believe that in order for blockchain to thrive, there should be minimal intervention, or like rather zero intervention from the government. So they believe that the protocol itself should rule everything, the governance should rule everything, and it should be a trustless kind of transaction that's allowed to take place. So it removes all this like bias and all this control within the network itself. So that's the crypto native school of thought. Then there is another school of thoughts where people would think that in order for that world to exist, um, a lot of people don't think that that world can exist or sustain in the long run, because eventually there will be people like say not everybody is crypto native. A lot of people like us, where we are like normal consumers, we are okay with like being serviced by other people. I don't need to have the whole transparency of the blockchain to know whatever that happens to my transactions. I just want to know that if something is wrong with my transactions, who can I look for? So I can look for a bank, I can look for like certain people that I know that is responsible for it. But if you are going to the crypto native direction, right? Like there's no one to look for, because there's no one that governs that thing, except a small group of people that will have sufficient tokens to govern the network. But then in the end, like then how fair that is. So then that's another thing. So to Hydra X, we believe that in order for blockchain or crypto whatever to reach a mass adoption, we'll still need regulations. We'll still need regulator to be an active participant in that. So for us, we will always be working with the regulators and build alongside them to steer the landscape of we will call it digital asset landscape. Yeah, because we don't want to just block, like just chain ourselves into crypto itself. Yeah, there's a whole big part of tokenized asset that is a lot bigger. Yeah, so I think that's something that is unique to Hydra X, that we have the capabilities and we are willing to work with the government in order to shape this and in order to accelerate the adoption in a compliant manner of all the financial institutions.
I see. In my area, in my network, currently we have like the topic of carbon credit.
Mm,
So I saw the paper and also the topic about the carbon credit, and it is just like you mentioned about the property. Instead of
mm,
like a property, a real asset, it exchanges the carbon that regulated in this earth. Can you like describe to me or describe to us what is the meaning of carbon credit itself for us?
mm. I mean, carbon credits. I mean, in a traditional world, you got to get the paper cert in order to um, produce carbon into the environment. Yeah, so it's a very illiquid asset in the sense that each of the carbon credit itself is very unique. So you don't have it's a non-fungible asset. That means every carbon credit is different. It's not like fungible assets, like say if I tokenize a building itself, all the tokens within that building will be treated equally. So there's no like a special token and then there's a non-special token. All tokens are treated the same for that particular building. But for carbon credit is slightly different. Carbon credit has different series, different vintage years, and the project that is behind the project team that's behind it. So is quite illiquid in itself. So some of the projects that we have seen is they are trying to take this illiquid asset and tokenize it in a way that will categorize all this carbon credit into different class of tokens. So then in that sense, you have like the class of tokens itself will consist of tokens that are of similar characteristics, so of equal weightage. So nothing that is like more special than the other. So they are trying to convert basically NFT into fungible asset. Yeah, so there are a lot of like innovation within this sector in order to make the transaction of carbon credit more liquid and more beneficial to the end users. Yeah, and I mean at the same time, uh, there are also, I mean, there are different complexity in implementing this as well, because not all carbon registry will have like a open API yet in order for us to connect to them and to manage the actual physical carbon credits cert itself. Yeah, so I mean, it's a growing interest for people to trade carbon credits. The ecosystem around this is also evolving, but yeah, definitely there are still some challenges in implementing this. Yeah.
How Hydra X tackle on this carbon credit trend?
Mm, we don't when it comes to what assets get tokenized and things, we don't influence that. The one is left to the market demand itself.
I see.
What we do is to turn whatever that our customers want into reality. So we work on the in within this aspect alone, we work on the technology front to allow like different kind of mechanism to tokenize and recognize the asset, and as well different kind of marketplace models that will fit into the transaction type that happens within this space. So like in carbon credit space, I don't think on day one they have a lot of volume like on an exchange. So a carbon credit exchange actually may be quite inactive. So that's why we provide other market models that will allow transaction to take place in a more meaningful manner. So such as, so we have like a market model that's called RFQ model. So basically it allows all the participants to just negotiate bilaterally. So think of it as a carousel for for carbon credit tokens. Yeah. So things like that. So I've seen quite a number of interesting projects around this. So I think people will just find different market models that would fit in the best with the asset class itself.
I see. Yeah, because like I think last month or yeah, I think last month, I got a chance to talk with the CEO of Net Zero Metrics. It is a startup from UK, and I think it got supported by Petroling Group. It's kind of big company, and they said they have interest in carbon credit. And after that, talk with the CEO. I got talk with one of my friend in manufacturer area. He said also in Indonesia, uh, Indonesia government wants to influence about the knowledge of carbon credit, and they said like Indonesia has the goal to have what is it called, zero carbon things
Right.
in 2060, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, but carbon credit things and with the blockchain, I think it's a good idea though, because and also challenging point.
Challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tam, this is the end of our talk in Debug Live. But before we end this session, I would like to ask you about two questions. The first thing is, what is the lessons you would share with aspiring product leaders?
Inspiring product leaders. I don't think my advice would be related to product only. I think if you want to be um, like an active contributor to a company, um, uh, then just be someone that is really passionate about solving a certain particular problem, and let that be your compass and guide you in the next step. Don't be so particular about this is my JD, this is my job scope. I do know that people would want to protect their time, and this is where I will get slightly controversial. Yeah, so people would want to be fairly paid, but it's sometimes very hard to draw the line. Like, are you being fair to yourself by
Mm.
not trying something that maybe that would be some your area of interest, and sometimes it's like, people also take a bet on you for certain areas where um they feel that you may be able to do it, but you don't have a traction of being able to
Mhm.
do it. So actually it's on both sides. You take a risk, the other party also take a risk, but at the end of the day, if you're really interested in certain problems and try to solve it and grow yourself through it, then let that guide you.
Mhm.
Don't box yourself in a certain definition of this is the role I have to play, and then that's it. And when it comes to products specifically, I guess the ability to navigate between the small details and the bigger picture will help you a lot. So um, being able to communicate to the engineers at the level where they will understand, which is the the small minor, like the small details of implementation, will help your job a lot. But at the same time, you also deal with stakeholders,
Mhm.
the clients, accounts, CEO, whatever, who would want information that helps them make decision in terms of resource allocation, in terms of business timeline and things like that. So you have to be able to communicate at the strategy level, at the level that makes sense, that is in terms of revenue generation. Yeah, so being able to make a switch between those two would be a skill that is that will differentiate yourself from your peers. And definitely now that AI is such a big thing, um, I think there are a lot of things that AI is gonna be doing so much better than us. Then that is where but AI is just a tool. It doesn't steal our craft. So the craft as a product person, that is pretty much deeply rooted in the context of the company and the people that the product person work with. So continue to work on that people skill, continue to be like really um, being in sync with the company, being aware of the context that you're at. Those are the nuances that AI won't be able to catch unless
Mm.
maybe one day robotics became a real thing and then they really replace all of us. So,
I
mm,
see. Thank you, Tam. And the second question is, what is your thoughts on the future of digital capital markets?
mm. Well, the future of digital markets would be, I don't know how long this would take.
Mhm.
Probably another 10 years before we can say like we truly have a seamless cross-border kind of marketplaces across the globe. But definitely the future of having the settlement cycle being reduced from T+2 to T+0 is a realistic goal that any financial institutions can aim towards. I've seen like, I mean, companies actively reduce that from like T+2, T+3 to T+1 already. So I mean, going to T+0 to allow instant settlement of transactions is something that's, to me, pretty practical and realistic. Yeah, and we would want to see, like, say, probably more assets being tokenized. So it's not just about real world assets, but you talk about things like, say, more kind of instrument types being tokenized. So we talk about debt, we talk about derivatives and all that. So all the things that is really common and have high volume of transactions within the traditional space would be tokenized. Yeah, so that's where the true power would lie.
I see. Great. The last thing I want to ask you is about uh, if you have any thoughts or story you want to share with us to end this session, would be nice, Tam.
What story?
Anything.
Anything?
Mm-hmm.
Um. Well, I guess. I mean, in general, I think life would be fantastic if we always keep ourselves deeply rooted in the community and the context that we are in. Sometimes people will be like, say, graduate from school, and then they'll be ambitious about like, uh, I would want to be this next person, that next person. Nothing wrong with it, but a lot of us don't have the ambition. A lot of us will just we are probably more practical. I don't know, or don't have enough dreams maybe. But I guess don't get anxious about that, because I mean life has a lot of problems. So just be really very aware of the problems there are, and instead of like being very depressed about it, pick one that you want to solve. That's the opportunity to grow. And a lot of times I do feel like the problems that burdens me the most, those are the signals where that's the area where I need to grow, and that's the area where like I would want to equip myself in, or whichever areas that makes you feel fearful. That's also an indicator. That's an area where it's not an indicator that hey, you should be running away from it. I mean, if you have the strength to stick with it, figure out the root cause of it, and equip yourself with the tools that you need in order to get stronger and to be able to manage back or influence back the situation. Yeah, so in that manner, I guess our career would have more meanings, instead of like, just gonna go to the office and then and work, and then that's it. I think we can do a lot more with most of our time spent at work. Mm.
I see. Thank you, Tom, for the insightful story or thoughts from you. So, guys, this is it. This is the end of Debug Live with Tom, the VP of Product from Hydra X PT Ltd. Thank you, guys, for watching. Subscribe and follow the Instagram, and drop me a comment or DM if you have any idea, or perhaps you want to shout out someone to talk to. Please do. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tom. Have a good
Yeah.
day. Bye
So,
bye.